thinking, oh shit, this is gonna keep leaning over like that. There we go. Rest in peace to Micheal Wright. He passed away yesterday, I believe. Yesterday morning, he passed away at 70 years old. This dude was a really good actor, man. Like, he was like one of my favorite actors, even though he didn't do a lot of movies, though. And I think this is because he was too good. I think this dude was too good, and that's why you didn't see him in a lot of stuff. But the stuff that you did see him in, the small stuff that you did see him in, the movies you did see him in, TV shows, he stood out. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go check out some of his past work. You know, it's also a documentary about making the 5 Heartbeats, which is the movie that really blew him up. Who is this? Let me see somebody saying something. Sean. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Sean Hayden. He made me less depressed over the nights. You said what? He made you? Please, what's going on? Let's see what everybody's saying. I'm gonna get into it. I owned him in my past life. If you know what I mean, let me see. What y'all talking about here? Will you do a goothon with us? What's a goothon? Getting back into Micheal Wright. He was in a movie, you know, 5 Heartbeats. If y'all haven't seen, for y'all young people, if you haven't seen 5 Heartbeats, do yourself a favor and go watch 5 Heartbeats. 5 Heartbeats is a master class of how you make a movie. Robert Townsend, that was a classic film, man. I remember going to the movie is like over 35 years old, but that was Micheal Wright's breakout role when he played. See if I can find some pictures on it from it. I don't know pictures of it. Oh, here you go. When he played Eddie Kane. When he played Eddie Kane in the 5 Heartbeats, that was like, yeah, he stood out in that movie. You know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't seen 5 Heartbeats, if you want to go to film school, you ain't got to go to film school. Just watch 5 Heartbeats. It had comedy, it had emotion, it had drama. Like, it had you crying. Like, it was a story about these brothers these 5 guys trying to make it in the music business in the 60s. You know, they said it was loosely based on The Temptations, which was the director and writer of 5 Heartbeats. That was his favorite group growing up. So low key, the 5 Heartbeats is basically the story about the Temptations, but it was just, you know, a fictional group called the 5 Heartbeats. And Micheal Wright played Eddie Kane Jr. You know, and he stood out. He was the lead singer in the group, you know, and then he stood out in that movie. But yeah, rest in peace to him. You know what I'm saying? He stood out. And 70 years old. He was also in what other movies he was in? He was in a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, I think 5 Heartbeats was like his well-known role, man. Like this scene right here when he was riffing, that shit, man. Yeah. If y'all haven't seen the 5 Heartbeats, you have to see the 5 Heartbeats. It's a master class on how to make movies. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I think he did, let me see, I forgot what else he did after that, but he did a bunch of other stuff after that. But I remember when I first saw him, he was in a movie called with James Belushi, Jim Belushi's brother. He was in a movie called The Principal. He was in The Principal, you know. He was in that movie with James Belushi. That came out in 1987. This movie came out, you know, back in those days in the 80s and the 90s, they had those, you know, the school is bad. So we're going to send in this new principal is going to clean the school. It's like one of those type of movies. And Micheal Wright was in it, and he played a gangster. This is him right here in The Principal. This is his first role, and he stood out, man. he played the gangster who had took over the school, and Jim Belushi was brought in there as the new principal to get him out of there, him and his drug dealing crew up out of there. And let me tell you, Michael Wright, he was young. You know, this is right before he did it, the Five Heartbeats. He stood out in this movie. Like, you was literally scared of this dude in this movie. Like, I was a little kid when this movie came out. I think I might have been 8 or 9 when this movie came out. But I remember watching it on HBO. But they would play it on HBO all the time. You know, we was one of the few families that can afford HBO back in the day. My mama didn't just want to have basic cable. She used to like watch movies. So I was fortunate enough to grow up in the house with cable. You know, back then cable was, you know what I'm saying? It was just like it is. It wasn't as expensive as it is now. But back then, like, especially most people had basic cable. But my mom had HBO because she loved movies. So I was privileged to watch. But they would always show movies over and over again. And the principal, they would show that movie all the time. But I didn't mind watching it because of Michael Wright. He made you want to watch the movie, even though you really just waited for the parts where his scene where he came in. He had that coldness about him, coolness but cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't the brother you want. He's son like this. This ain't the brother you want to. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Damn. Yeah. Rest in peace to Michael Wright, man. Yeah, the principal had Louis Gossett Jr. in it. It had Louis Gossett Jr. in it. He was young back then. Well, he was like in his late 40s. He was like my age now, shit, back then when he did this movie in 1987. You know, and that was like the whole principal era of the movie industry. They was doing like the principal then after that, in 1989, Lean on Me came out with Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And that's sad about Michael Wright, man. 70 years old. I guess is that old? You know? 70? I mean, I guess that's old, but it's not old. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But did y'all know that studio, sorry, for the movie Five Heartbeats, the studio really wanted Denzel. They wanted a young Denzel to play Eddie King Jr., which was Michael Wright's role. Because they felt like at the time when Robert Townsend, the director and the writer of Five Heartbeats, was trying to get the movie off the ground, they felt like he didn't have enough star power. I mean, they had Diane Carroll. She was in it. I think she was the only known star in the movie, right? Yeah, Diane Carroll. Everybody else pretty much was unknowns that I can think of. I didn't see nobody, remember, except for, Michael Wright. Everybody had small roles here and there, but nobody was actually Robert Townsend and Diane Carroll, I think, were the only kind of known actors that were in the Five Heartbeats. Oh, John Witherspoon. But yeah, so the studio wanted some black star power. And they felt like Michael Wright wasn't a well-known. It was like his second or third role. So they felt like he wouldn't have been good. They wanted to make their money back. They invested, I think like $5 million into this movie, $5 to $10 million. So they wanted to make their money back. So they felt like, damn, like we need a star to really back this film. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted Denzel to play Eddie Kane. And then guess who they wanted to play Big Red? Big Red was the record. People who've seen the movie, Big Red was the shiesty record executive, Big Red Records, that had signed the Five Heartbeats. They actually wanted Morgan Freeman to play Big Red. They wanted Morgan Freeman. This is him back at that time. He would have been this age, so he probably been in his early 50s, I think, late 40s. So they wanted him to play Big Red, which I think if you look at it, he looked sinister right there. He could have played Big Red. My office hours off from 9 to 5. I could see him doing that, but I don't know, man. The cast was the guy who played Big Red ultimately was the best choice. You know what I'm saying? If they would have told me, hey, we're gonna reshoot this, Do you want Morgan Freeman? I would have wanted to see him, his version of Big Red, but I still would have went with the original dude. He just blew that role away. The original Big Red, he was scary. He was scary too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But Morgan Freeman was supposed to play Big Red in that movie, but damn, man. Rest in peace to Michael Wright. Wow. Yeah, he was good. Go see him. He was in a movie called Sugar Hill. Go see Sugar Hill. If y'all haven't seen with Wesley Snipes. He was in a movie called it was actually a comedy. He played a bad guy. He always played like sinister bad guy. He was Money Talks with Chris Tucker. He was in that, you know, which he wasn't scary as he was in his other films, but he still had that edge. He had an edge about him, Michael Wright. That's why I used to like to see him in movies, you know. Sugar Hill, though, he was dope in that. Oh man, he was dope in freaking Sugar Hill. With they played the drug dealing brothers. Him and Romello was Wesley Snipes' character. I can't think of Michael Wright's name, but they were brothers. And Michael Wright played Wesley Snipes' older brother. And they sold drugs together and they were trying to get out the game. I think Michael Wright wanted to keep doing it, and Wesley Snipes' character wanted to get out the game. Sugar Hill's another one. Y'all got to watch that movie. Be honest with you, I think for the Five Heartbeats, Michael Wright should have got nominated for an Oscar. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, man, we need our own Hollywood. He should have got nominated for an Oscar in the Five Heartbeats. You know what I'm saying? He killed that shit. Like that, man.